I'm Ajibento Drame, and this is QTV Midday News coming to you live from our studios along Karaba Avenue, and thanks for joining us. Our top stories. The Gambia Red Cross Society, in partnership with Q Money on Tuesday, began the disbursement of cash to victims of the July 7 devastating windstorm. The National Human Rights Commission has expressed concern about recent inflammatory comments directed at the TRRC and at the appointment of Gurgimbub as head of the anti-crime unit. In a major boost for treating epilepsy, the First Lady Fatoumata Barrow on Monday presided over the inauguration of the first ever tele-EEG machine in the country. In our series on our market, we go to Coastal Road Market to observe conditions there. And in international news, one of the 270 girls kidnapped in Chibok, Nigeria in 2014 has been reunited with her family. She returned with children born in captivity and a man she said was her husband. Those were our main headlines. Now the news in detail. Now, the Gambia Red Cross Society, in partnership with Q Money on Tuesday, began the disbursement of cash to victims of the July 7th devastating windstorm that claimed about 10 lives and ravaged many communities in the country. And Sumani Esonyasi reports.
Described as the worst disaster to have hit the country in recent years, the July 7th tragedy recorded serious fatalities and rendered thousands of Gambians homeless, and many were hospitalized having sustained injuries. This led to calls for humanitarian assistance, and at the forefront of national efforts to support the victims is the Gambia Red Cross Society. Among them is the provision of food and non-food items. However, having recognized the need to even do more, the Gambia Red Cross launched a national fundraising campaign on QTV to galvanize more support to the victims. The humanitarian institution has partnered with the leading mobile money company in the country, Q Money, to make cash transfers to 500 victims countrywide. Abdullahi Fai, JRC's Director of Planning and Operations, explains the reason for partnering with Q Money and what efforts the Red Cross is doing to reach out to disaster victims.
So we have two components of the response. We have the shelter component, and then we have the household and food items component. So the food and the household item component is $7,906 is one off. And then we have the shelter component, which is $7,500 for a period of 3 months, which is totaling to $22,500. But this $22,500 we are going to pay it in one off, so that the family can have at least a good amount of money and able to fix their roof.
Aliu Binjai, head of Q Money, says they are honored to partner with the Red Cross, as this is a national initiative that requires everyone's contribution. Q Money and the Q Group, he adds, will continue to offer support to disaster victims.
We're in partnership with Red Cross to make this cash disbursement. But as you know, it was a national disaster, and the Q Group and our chairman, Mr. Jah, was personally involved to assist in some way by waiving some of the fees that would have been involved in this disbursement. So a huge investment has been made by the Q Group and Q Cell, and in extension Q Money, to assist Red Cross with this initiative. So we are partnering with them. We are making the payments to all the beneficiaries using the Q Money wallet. As you know, the Q Money wallet is very ubiquitous. It's a digital wallet on your phone. So the beneficiaries will be able to, if they don't want to disburse all the money, they can keep some of it and use it in a week or two's time to sort their affairs.
Q Money has waived the charges for all cash transfers to victims, amounting to about $200,000 as contribution to ongoing victim support efforts. Having started with 10 victims in the Kanifing municipality, Q Money and the Red Cross will visit other regions in the coming days to effect cash transfers to other victims. Ansmane Sonyasi for QTV News.
The National Human Rights Commission on Tuesday updated the media on its activities carried out since February. As Aliu Sise reports, the Commission is seemingly worried by the trend of inflammatory remarks aimed at the TRRC and its work and the redeployment of anti-crime commander Gurgimbub.
This is the second media briefing this year by the National Human Rights Commission to give an update on its activities carried out and to discuss emerging trends in human rights. Among its main activities is the launch of several documents and tools to help the Commission's work. One of these documents is the 5-year strategic plan which encompasses resource mobilization and implementation plans, and is expected to help the Commission to effectively and efficiently carry out its mandate. The Commission has also developed a website and a case management database system. It also published a research on sexual harassment in the workplace, developed a police code of conduct and guidelines for public assemblies, and the gazetted 2020 report of the state of human rights in the country. During the period under review, the Commission had also visited detention centers across the country and participated in the monitoring of the just concluded voter registration exercise. Commission Chairman Emmanuel Daniel Job said they are also engaging all political parties to promote a healthy and peaceful electoral process.
There are a lot of hate speeches, there are a lot of profanities, there are a lot of incitement to violence, the character assassination, taking different dimensions, being ethnic, being religious, political. And we felt that it is important that if we talk to political parties, because most people who make these statements either on social media, they tend to associate themselves with certain political parties or political leanings.
Capacity building and joint partnership remain high on the Commission's agenda to equip the stakeholders with required knowledge for the promotion of peaceful coexistence and respect for human rights. On the controversial return to the anti-crime unit of Fiat anti-crime commander Gorgui Mboup, Chairman Diouf reveals that they have requested more information from the police command as to the reasons for his return after a joint investigation found Gorgui Mboup guilty of human rights violations last year.
It was a joint panel of the police themselves, a joint panel of the Gambia Bar Association. We are talking about the Gambia Bar Association. It was a panel that had a representative of Tango, chaired by us. Let us listen to the IGP, because the letter I got on the 28th of September from the late IGP was that, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. This is a very good report. We will implement what you have, what your findings of your joint panel. And they have started implementing, and we've been very happy about the progress we have been going. And then this came, and we have written. So we'll wait for the response of the IGP.
Jennifer Jom, Vice Chair of the Commission, said efforts are ongoing to decentralize the work of the Commission in the regions.
The reason for that is that we want to make sure National Human Rights Commission as an office, as an institution, and its work is felt by everybody, every citizen, everybody living within the Gambia, from Banjul to Koina.
The Commission expressed concern at the derogatory remarks directed at the TRRC and its commissioners, but also the attacks on the anticipated implementation of the recommendations. It renews its commitment to unbiased process in its work and vows to raise red flag when and where necessary. The event was co-chaired by Dr. Sekou Kausu Gassama, new Executive Secretary of the Commission, and Asian Njai Cham, Director of Communications and Media. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Sise.
Moving on, the First Lady Fatou Barrow on Monday presided over the inauguration of the first ever tele-EEG machine donated to the Edward Francis One Teaching Hospital by the Foundation for Epilepsy and Stigma Support. And Suman Esunyase reports.
The inauguration of this highly sophisticated and costly machine has been hailed by officials in the health sector as a breakthrough in the fight against epilepsy in the country. Presided over by the First Lady and the Minister of Health, Monday's event was attended by senior officials of the EFSTH and the Ministry of Health. Dr. Ahmad Lamid Samate, Minister for Health, thanked the Foundation for Epilepsy and Stigma Support for their intervention, adding that government recognizes their contribution to the health sector.
We thank you very much for coming to support the government and people of this country in getting this link. We applaud your partners, the Tele-EEG Group, for making this possible. This directly goes to help in providing optimal care for the epileptics and other patients.
Professor Usman Nyan, Chief Medical Officer, EFSTH, says the machine will be of immense aid, adding that the EFSTH management recognizes FaceGAM's interest in complementing government's efforts to the advancement and provision of quality health services.
For community health services, community mental health service, it is indeed the commonest that is found in the communities, accounting for something like a quarter of mental health services or mental health problems up and down the country. So helping us with that, it is a very great service.
Adama Jallo Jane, president of FESGAM, and Stephen Coates, CEO of UK charity Tele-EEG, expressed gratitude to the management of the AFSTH for their partnership and support to epileptic patients in the Gambia, and went on to renew their commitment to providing similar support in the future.
Today is a dream come true, a dream born out of years of heartbroken experience of my brother who lives with epilepsy and for whom optimal diagnostic and therapeutic care was never available, leaving him unable to achieve his potentials. Mr. Chairman, this coupled with all the stigma my family had to go through left me with no option but to come up with the Foundation for Epilepsy and Stigma Support.
As you are probably aware, epilepsy is a significant burden to the whole of the population. It carries problems of injury, premature death, as well as social stigma. But about 70% of those with epilepsy can actually be treated successfully and have full and active lives. And the key to giving the correct treatment is in establishing the correct diagnosis. Around a quarter of people with epilepsy can have something else instead of epilepsy.
Epilepsy is a common condition that affects the brain and is a chronic disorder, the hallmark of which are recurrent, unprovoked seizures. There is no current data on epilepsy in the Gambia. However, officials in the health sector say it is becoming a major concern. The availability of such a machine that can help in diagnosing and providing suitable treatment for epileptic patients is most welcome. Ansumani Sonyasi for KTV News.
From that story, we will go with a short commercial break. Still to come, we have more stories too. Stay tuned.
Here are 5 ways you can help combat stigma and discrimination as we fight against coronavirus COVID-19. 1. Educate your friends and family that COVID-19 is not specific to any race, nationality, or skin color. 2. Do not associate migrants with the virus. In many contexts, migrants are healthy and key players in nation building. 3. Remind others that discrimination may lead people to hide their symptoms rather than seek treatment. This puts everyone else at risk. 4. Be kind, considerate, and helpful to others in these difficult times. 5. If you know anyone experiencing symptoms, encourage them to dial 1025 for free.
Welcome back. Now, QTV has recently visited several central markets within the Greater Banjul area to report on the conditions in the markets where many of us get our food. When QTV visited the Coastal Road Market to find out about conditions, vendors voiced concerns about the unhygienic conditions. Is it about people's attitude or poor behavior towards waste management? Or is it a lack of readily available policies or structures that result in such indiscriminate waste dumping? Visiting the Coastal Road Market, one is faced with an environment that is not easy on the eye. Litter, murky waters, the unbearable stench from disused freezers used to keep fish, and an unofficial area used for waste dumping can also be seen. Asatu Job, a market vendor, complained about the unhygienic market and blames both vendors for this indiscriminate waste dumping and the authorities for not providing ways for the easy, safe, and clean disposal of waste from the market. Having vehicles to pick up waste is a good idea. Behind this building is the place to discard waste. Its stench hangs everywhere. However, as we can't stay at home, we must put up with this, but there are lots of difficulties here. According to the market vendors, there is no mechanism or system for easy waste disposal. They pay wheelbarrow pushers about $10 or more per bag to collect waste, which is later dumped at this illegal site. This site is at its worst during the rainy season. One can find mounds of burnt plastics animal skins, and other waste from the market. Dumped here and an open cesspit full to the brim which could lead to serious accidents. It is also clearly a health hazard. Furthermore, this dump site known to be used as a toilet for men and women as there is no public toilet available. Pastor Rex, a shopkeeper, explains.
We do not have toilets. Both men and women, we all come here to pass urine. Sometimes you have to go far away from your shop to look for a place to pass your excreta and all that. It's not too good. Even the environment is not healthy for those of us who are here. So we are appealing to the government and to the authorities to please help us erect some toilets here, even if we have to pay.
It is said that there used to be toilets in the market about 7 years ago. However, due to lack of maintenance, it collapsed. Meanwhile, the new toilets close to the dump site which were being constructed have apparently taken several years, have still not been completed, according to the market vendors. Unfortunately for Babukar Jallo, he has a shop immediately beside the dump site, and he had this to say.
Regarding this dump site, they really need to help us. When we sit in our shops, even if we close the door, the odor comes in and the stench is suffocating. The only thing we want is help with this dump site. Men and women from the market come here and indiscriminately eat themselves. It is worse for women, as we have to close our doors to give them privacy when eating themselves, or they use the football field. It's quite shameful.
Other vendors also voiced their concern over the situation and called for authorities to help. Waste management has been a contentious issue in the Gambia and a huge problem on our environment, which is neither conducive for animals nor humans. In the past, council authorities have claimed the market was set up and established illegally. In spite of this, there have been no efforts to dismantle it or relocate it. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News. Here's a different story on markets. The prices of basic commodities escalated before Tubaski and have gone up even more since then. Fatu Sanyang visited the Serekunda market to find out from vendors and shoppers about the price hike. Here is her report.
Food is a necessity and people need it to stay healthy and alive. This being the case, it is unfortunate that prices of basic commodities such as fish, rice and oil, amongst others, have increased greatly a couple of weeks after the Tobaski feast. This has impacted greatly on buyers. Faisedikan, a housewife, laments on how the high prices of basic commodities affect her.
We are all family heads and things in the market are expensive. When you come to the market, you will realize that everyone's fish money varies. Some have $200, some only $100. When you ask for the price of a commodity, they will tell you $50 to $100 per commodity. So, you have a dilemma, what commodity you will buy.
Maimuna Jabi, a mother, says she usually comes from Bakau to shop in Serekunda due to the high prices at the Bakau market. Unfortunately for her, there was disappointment.
Because Bakau I
live in Bakau. I came to Serekunda to shop because of the high prices at Bakau. But unfortunately, I see no difference here. Everything you touch here is expensive. A cup of oil is now $20, which has never happened before.
The market vendors too have their side of the story. Tala Hule explains why the prices have increased.
Nowadays, everything is expensive. Since after the Tobaski, commodities are scarce. Maybe that is the reason why the increase in prices. If things are scarce, the prices increase.
Janke Sise, a vegetable seller, explains how the increase of commodity prices have affected her business.
Because first time
it affects us because it's not booming as before. Things that you used to buy for $10 now cost $25 to $50, which people cannot afford. Sometimes the goods last for 2 days, which is unfavorable for both buyers and sellers. We are urging the government to invest in the agricultural sector because it is better to cultivate vegetables than to import them.
Hike in prices of basic commodities has been a common phenomenon in the Gambia. For now, there seems little hope of change. For QTV News, I am Fatou Sanya.
Now in international news, the office of the governor of Borno State in northern Nigeria on Saturday announced that one of the nearly 300 schoolgirls kidnapped in the town of Chibok 7 years ago is free and has been reunited with her family. More in this report by Yahya Jao.
This schoolgirl, Ruth Nglada Pogu, surrendered to the military last month along with someone she married in captivity. According to reports, the official announcement of her release from captivity was withheld by the officials to give them time to contact her parents and the families of the other kidnapped Chibok schoolgirls. In a statement, Borno State Governor Baba Gana Umara Zulum assured the victim of psychological and medical support and care. Most of the girls are still missing. Kidnapping in Nigeria is among the biggest organized social crimes, usually carried out by bandits and insurgents, and it is a national security challenge to the country. Thousands of Nigerians have fallen victims of the crime and have had to pay millions of dollars in ransom for their freedom. Resistance to kidnapping often results to the deaths of victims. In April 2014, Boko Haram kidnapped almost 300 schoolgirls aged between 12 and 17 in the town of Chibok in Borno State. This sparked an international outcry, leading to the Bring Back Our Girls campaign on social media, championed by, amongst others, Michelle Obama, when she was the First Lady in the White House, together with other prominent voices. Years later, about 24 of the girls were either released or found by the military. However, approximately 113 remain missing and are believed to still be captives of the Islamic militant group Boko Haram. For 12 years now, Nigeria's military has been locked in a battle against Boko Haram. The conflict has left 40,000 dead and displaced more than 2 million in northern Nigeria. While Boko Haram may have pioneered mass kidnappings as a tactic, criminal gangs have also ventured into what is described by many Nigerians as a lucrative business for these kidnappers to secure ransoms. In the most recent attack last month, school children were kidnapped from a boarding school in the state of Kaduna, making it the 10th such mass kidnapping from a school since December. An estimated 1,000 students are being held in total. The significant impact of kidnapping and other associated crimes is becoming worrisome and disconcerting to not only Nigerians, but to the international community at large. There is also the danger that if the tactic is deemed to be successful, it will be copied in other countries in the region. Reporting for QTV News, I am Yahya Jao.
Before we end this recap, here is the main headlines. The Gambia Red Cross Society, in partnership with Q Money on Tuesday, began the disbursement of cash to victims of the July 7 devastating windstorm. In its latest media briefing, the National Human Rights Commission has expressed concern about recent inflammatory comments directed at the TRRC and at the appointment of Gorgimbub as head of the anti-crime unit. In a major boost for treating epilepsy, the First Lady Fatuba Barrow on Monday presided over the inauguration of the first ever tele-EEG machine in the country. In our series on our markets, we went to Coastal Road Market to observe conditions there. In international news, one of the 270 girls kidnapped in Chibok, Nigeria in 2014 has been reunited with her family. She returned with 2 children born in captivity and a man she said was her husband. Well, that's it from me in today's Midday News. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.